So, today I wanted to talk about Olivia Rodrigo's first studio album, Sour. Now, where do I begin? This album was an absolute masterpiece. I enjoyed this album so much. The vocals and the songwriting were just absolutely amazing. And for a debut album, Olivia Rodrigo came in, understood the assignment, and did exactly what she had to do. She got in, she got out, there's some hits, there's some bops. It does get a little redundant at times, it does, but just a little bit, because it's such a short album, but it is a little redundant in the love triangle. But the songwriting attacks the subject matter in different perspectives, and she kind of does revisit the same story in different ways as her emotions kind of manifest into these different things. Like at first, she's angry that he's moved on, but then she's happy for him, but then she doesn't want him to be happier. And then she begins to hate on the female in the situation, but then the female is beautiful and has nothing to do with it really. But then she kind of does, but then it's not her fault, it's the guy's fault. So she kind of just flip-flops all over the place, just like that. Even though it's the same situation, it's being told in different ways, and she's feeling new things. And it's very relatable as a teenager to go through all of these feelings. Because, she's young and she's getting her heart broken for the first time, so she's obviously going through all these other things. But not only that, but speaking of just being a teenager, that's how the entire album opens up with the song Brutal, which is basically just her just letting out all her anger of her adolescence and just all the lies that she's being told. And she really talks about like how everyone just looks at her like, oh, you're a teen, you're living a good life, and it's like, no, please wake up and educate yourself, because it's not fun games, gun drops, and lollipops. Like, I'm living hell right now, and it's not as fun as people are making it out to seem. I'm a human just like everyone else, and I'm going through stuff. And again, very relatable, because as a child, people just be like, oh, you're young, and just dismiss your problems. And it's like, no, I have issues too. So I liked Brutal a lot. Some of my favorite tracks from this album definitely have to be Hope You're Okay, Happier was absolutely amazing, Good For You, Deja Vu, Driver's License, of course. Like, there's just so many good moments in this album. The songwriting is absolutely amazing. What I enjoy so much about this album is that your introduction to Olivia Rodrigo this year was Driver's License, and Driver's License just depicts this love triangle story in just great detail. And the album just goes into more detail about what you already know. And I feel like as a lead single, a single's supposed to do just that. A lead single's supposed to be like, hey, I'm dropping an album, this song rocks, but if you like this song, you're gonna love my album. That's exactly what it did. I love Driver's License, and I was listening to the album because of Driver's License. So the fact that the album was just a continuation of what I enjoyed so much makes this the perfect album. And all albums should be that. An album should be a reflection of what everybody likes, and everyone liked Driver's License, of course. Some people say it's overplayed, but I enjoyed Driver's License personally. So the fact that this album was just a continuation of that love story, while kind of trickling in and being experimental with some certain stuff, and it was successful as well. This is what an album should be. This is exactly what an album should be. An album should be, hey, I do this great, I know y'all like this, so I'm going to continue doing this, but I'm going to also incorporate some new stuff that y'all maybe haven't heard from me yet. And that's exactly what this album did. It incorporated like this rock metal sound that we've never heard from Olivia Rodrigo before, and that turned out to be very, very good. Not only that, but she implemented like the ballads that we've heard from her before, like in Driver's License, and then she kind of combined that with this newer sound, this like metal rock sound as well. So it's a mix between that. Not only that, but this metal rock sound expresses like her anger and her discomfort with adolescence and a relationship, while also that more softer ballad side expresses like her sadness. And that's what I mean by she kind of talks about like the same stuff for like 80% of this album, but then it's in different perspectives. Like 1 minute she's happy about the relationship and how he's moved on and he should be happier, and sometimes she's angry, and sometimes she's happy because maybe she might find somebody else that's better for her. But other times she's mad at the female, but then it's like it's not the female's fault, but it is her fault, but it isn't. And it's just a lot. It's a lot, but it's not a lot at the same time, because the album is very short. But since this is her debut album, I feel like the best thing that she could possibly do is just get in and get out, because nothing too long. I'd rather have something short and sweet than long and kind of I don't think this album has any skips, because it is so short. Like, it gets in and it gets out, and I think you can't be mad at that. And I personally just love the songwriting in this album. Like, I love when music speaks for itself. Like, at the end of the album, you fully absorbed all the content of it. Now, I do love a good Easter egg here and there. Maybe you miss something here and there. But I feel like with a lot of albums, they get so mysterious to the point where, what did I just hear? Because people try to be too subliminal and whatnot, and then you end up not getting anything out of it. But I feel like this album just gives you a lot. Like, when you're finished with this album, you take everything in. Like, you understand somebody, you are learning about somebody while you're still incorporating and expressing good music at the same time. Like, this is just a perfect balance. And just in her voice, you can just hear just the passion and the energy, especially in the song Happier, which is one of my favorite tracks off of this album. Just the passion, and just, you can tell that she's really connecting with what she's saying. Like, this isn't like oh, here's the script, get in the studio real quick. Like, even if she's getting help writing this is just a direct, like, reflection of what she's going to. It's a direct expression of her life, and it feels like you're getting to learn a teenager. And even, you know, we've all been through adolescence before. It feels like you're tapping back into those mood swings that you went through and learning how to feel new things for the first time. Like, you really like go through it. Like, when someone breaks your heart, are you supposed to be mature? Are you supposed to be mad about it? Who are you supposed to be mad at? I'm mad at her, but is it really her fault? Just going through all these things, and just Happier is just such a great song. Her vocals are so amazing. She kind of sounds like Billie Eilish. Her vocals, like, some of these songs sound just like Billie Eilish. Like, it was giving me very I Don't Want to Be You Anymore. Like, it reminds me of, like, Billie Eilish before she turned to, like, the damn whisperer, and she whispers all the time and sounds like she has a cold or some cigarettes or something. Anyways. I love Billie Eilish, but it's just, like, I feel like now she's adopted a lot more whispering more than vocals, especially her live performances. I forget that she can sing sometimes. She goes, But anyways, I digress. Back to the album. Her vocals are just, they're not they are very unique, because no one really sounds like this other than Billie Eilish, because Billie Eilish also has very unique vocals, aside from, like, Lana Del Rey, of course, but that's just the whispering, moody, gloomy side, which Olivia Rodrigo has none of. But nonetheless, her vocals are still very unique, something that, like, I've never really heard. It's not, like, formulaic or anything. It just seems like you're learning somebody else. Like, Olivia Rodrigo is being herself. It's not a gimmick. She's not trying to be like, hey, I'm a party girl, I'm a jock. I'm Olivia. And I love that so much. It's just new, it's fresh, while still you can still relate to me, but I'm still unique, and it's still something that's new and it's fresh. And this album just does everything that it needs to do. Hits off of all cylinders, like, just the passion, and it's just relatable. If you've ever been a teenager before, like, you just know exactly what she's going through. It's amazing. Not only that, but just to be so young and so mature, and to be able to express and write songs like this, and to sing like this, and to have ideas like this, to be able to communicate and put it in, like, a song format. This is amazing, and it's admirable. And especially in the 11th track, Hope You're Okay, when she talks about these two homosexual people that she met at a very young age, in, like, elementary school or high school or whatever, whenever she met them. And she talks about how their parents put the Bible before the care of their own child. Like, to the fact that such a young person could have thoughts like this, like, to look at a situation and be like, why do these people hate them so much? Because of some old ancient book? Like, how could you hate your own child like this? Like, how could you betray, like, the love and care you're supposed to have for these people that you put in this world? Like, to have a conversation like that, and to have a song like that on your debut album, alongside, like, these amazing vocals. Not only that, but not only her saying, like, these people have went through this pain, but it's like, it's admirable to her. Like, the fact that they're going through all this pain and unlearning all the internalized hate that they've been told to hate. Like, oh, like, these gay people are wrong, they're wrong. But the fact that these gay people were able to be like, this isn't wrong, and this is who I am, and that is okay. The fact that Olivia Rodrigo is saying these things, and she's like, that's really cool, and you inspire me. Like, this needs a Grammy. This album needs a Grammy. Like, what? That is just amazing. Like, who's doing this? Like, there's no gimmicks in this album. There's no, oh, let's go body, yada, 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 yada. Like, this is just straight, just songwriting, just this is who I am, this is real, this is me, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. This album was just, it's giving. And it's an absolute masterpiece. I would give this album a solid 8 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. That's the highest I'm going. But yeah, I would give this album a solid 8.5 out of 10. Definitely one of the best albums of this year. Olivia Rodrigo was here to stay. She did what she had to do. She understood the assignment and then went and got extra credit and sat down and got it done. Absolute masterpiece. Hats off to Miss Olivia Rodrigo. I am definitely a fan. And yeah, this is my album review. What are your pros and your cons? I feel like my cons would just be that I would have, hopefully we'll get a deluxe edition of this album, but, you know, the content was a little redundant at times. Like it was like, all right, girl, we understand the love triangle, but in the same breath, she was coming at it from different perspectives. And I feel like as a teenager, that's just what you do. It was just relatable to me. Like, you still, like, overthinking the situation. Like, maybe I should be mad, but no, I am mad. And, you know, I shouldn't be mad at her, but I am mad at her. And, you know, etc., etc. I digress. And this is my album review. Please like, subscribe, comment. I'm YikesRoman, and I'm signing out.